Sleep deprivation has been known to drive some into insanity, lack of cognitive reasoning, and even death. Reasoning for these occurrences, however, are vague and unknown. It has been a great scientific mystery to get to the bottom of this occurrence, with many large theories seeming to paint a blurry picture as to why sleep is important. One of the more recent theories produced is known as the brain plasticity theory. This theory basically implies that sleep is the most crucial factor in the development of the brain, since it is during sleep, or more specifically REM sleep, that memories are stored and the brain builds better and faster connections. This REM, or rapid eye movement stage of sleep, is where we are most deep into being unconscious. Proof of this theory in action can be seen in the difficulty in learning and remembering simple facts when you are sleep deprived. Any subject with a well-rounded sleep schedule will outperform a sleep-deprived person every time. What this theory means for the importance of sleep could translate to possibly a connection of sleep and intelligence, where more sleep could help memory and fact absorption, thus showing that it could be more beneficial to get a good night's sleep with less study time, rather than study all night long before a test with no sleep. Another theory in the forefront of possible solutions is the energy conservation theory. This theory states that sleep was adapted as a result of animals wanting to save as much energy as possible so that they didn't have to compete as hard as other animals for food. This does have a little bit of weight to it due to the fact that energy can be depleted as much as 10% during sleep, but it lacks when you stop and realize that a lack of sleep still hurts humans today during a time where it isn't as important to compete for energy as it was thousands of years ago. If this adaptation was meant for strictly energy management, though, I can't see why it hurts to not sleep. According to this theory, it should only really help to sleep and then have no side effect when you aren't sleeping. A more solid theory is the restorative theory, or restorative theory. This one implies that it is through sleep that most of our body functions are maintained. This could help explain why a lack of sleep hurts, since a lack of sleep would mean that your body isn't being maintained. Now, it's important to note that in the case of the functions being maintained are things such as muscle growth, tissue repair, protein synthesis, and growth hormone release. Evidence for this theory can be derived from the fact that many of the previously mentioned functions strictly occurred during sleep. There has even been trials in which animals deprived of sleep have completely lost immune system functions and died within weeks. Such a theory could even help back a common concept of video games and pop culture in which sleep is used as the main healing process. It is during sleep that your cells have an opportunity to focus most of their effort and energy into healing and rebuilding, rather than other conscious functions they need to do while you're awake. My personal favorite theory, though, is a simple one. The inactivity theory implies that sleep was adapted in order to help keep animals away from the dangers of night, pretty much meaning that it's safer to be quiet and still during night rather than awake and moving. And this method of sleeping progressed along through natural selection, since the silent, sleeping animals survived the night, while the ones who didn't sleep were often caught and killed. Within a few thousand years, most animals caught on and either learned or inherited the adaptation of sleep. Theoretically, if sleep truly was inherited in this manner, it means that we sleep due to a leftover adaptation in which we possibly don't need anymore. This is similar to how humans still grow hair even though we have clothes and other ways of keeping warm. Going off this theory and assuming it is fact, I would go as far as to say that us humans can and will outgrow sleep eventually. Give it some time, and like other adaptations that we've outgrown, sleep too will soon disappear. This could open up the new avenue for future adaptations for conserving energy and rebuilding cells, such as maybe conscious cell repair or even efficient digestion. But at the end of the day, us humans are still at a use it or lose it species, meaning if you stop using an adaptation for long enough, it will go away. So as long as we are still sleeping, it is still relevant and useful. See you next week, and thanks for watching Bold Assumptions.